the more unconscious a person is of their shadows, and they stuff their shadows down, the better they look on the surface. The easier it is to idealize that person, right? If someone is hiding all their negative stuff, all their shadows, all their dirty laundry, all their baggage, they portray an image of perfection, right? They're hiding all their negative stuff. So you see this person, well, like, oh my God, they're all positive. This person's amazing. You put them on a pedestal, and you might idealize them. People do this a lot with presidents like Trump. People in the spiritual community, like even Deepak Chopra now has things surfacing. And before we knew that, we thought Deepak Chopra we had him on a pedestal, right? We have this guy's super spiritual, he's amazing, he knows all this stuff, and he's always teaching it. But then we found out that he's on the Jeffrey Epstein list. And now we see the reality, right? Which was always there. Imagine having two cups, right? And there's a ball under one of the cups. It's like that game where there's a ball and there's two cups. And someone asks you, like, do you see a ball? You're like, no, I don't see a ball. But then I raise the cup. Now the ball's there. So the ball was always there. You just didn't see it before. Now you see the ball. That's how it is with people's shadows, right? And the more perfect they seem on the surface, the more there's a shadow, because we're all human beings. We all have both sides. We all have a positive and a negative. There's times where you're nice and there's times when you're mean. There's times when you're kind and there's times when you're cruel. And you have both, and everybody has both. And the more we see people as one-sided, the more the other side is hidden. It's always like that, every single time. And that's literally what narcissism is. Narcissism is hiding half of yourself and only showing the world the half that you think is acceptable. And so then some people will see that and like, wow, this person is perfect. Oh my God, I want to be like them, or I want that person as my partner. They seem so perfect. But it's because they are unaware and they're of their other half. They're stuffing it down. And so what am I getting at? Why is this important? Because we get attached to these people that we feel are perfect because they hide half of themselves. And they're very skillful at hiding half of themselves, and they're not even aware. It's unconscious. They're not aware that they have things inside of them that they think are horrible. And so they overcompensate by projecting this image of perfection or of I'm always nice, I'm always sweet, I'm always supportive, when in reality they're just compensating for the part of themselves that they feel is unacceptable under the surface. And it's usually what they have inside of them is the parts that they are disowning that remind them of people, their caregivers, parents, people that they feel are, shitty. So they have these traits in them because we all have all human traits. We all have both sides equally. We're both, if someone challenges your values, you're going to be a piece of, what? If someone supports your values, you're going to be nice to them. You have both sides. And people try to pretend that they don't have half of themselves. And they're trying to love themselves by getting rid of half of themselves. And you can't do that. You're never going to love yourself if you're trying to get rid of half yourself. You're going to love yourself when you see that other half that you've been hiding from and you learn to love it. And that thing that you're learning to love that's inside of you is usually an exact replica of the people you feel hurt you in your life. Your parents, abusers. There's this energy inside of you, that these traits that you are struggling to love. And, and I love to talk about relationships. And this is why we idealize people. We put them on a pedestal. And then we find out later that all along they had another side. We just weren't aware of it. And sometimes we are aware of it and we just doubt our intuition, or it feels so good that we're just like, you know what, I'm gonna turn a blind eye. I'm only gonna see the positive stuff because it feels so good. It feels like a drug addiction, right? And then over time, it's like it starts to seep through. It's like, and when the drug wears off, and then you start to see things more clearly, it's like, oh shit, this person had another side all along that I was completely unaware of. It's better to learn to see both sides of a person up front, and then decide whether you love them or not, right? This goes with like career, right? If you go into a career thinking it's gonna be super easy, I'm gonna make quick money, right? It's gonna happen so quickly, that you're approaching it from only seeing half of it. But then when it becomes difficult, do you keep going? It's the same thing as with the example with people. You know you love someone when you see both sides of them and you choose them anyways. You know you love a career when you see both sides of the career and that it's not always going to be nice, and you do it anyways. Look at like someone who wants to have a child, right? If they go into wanting to have a child and saying it's only going to be amazing, it's only going to be perfect, there's going to be a rude awakening when they're not getting any sleep, when the child's vomiting on them and pooping on them, right? There are challenges to having a child, and seeing both sides of that, of the situation before you get into it, and you still want to do it, that's how you know you love it. If you see both sides of a person and you still love them, that's how you know it's love. If you see both sides of a situation and you still love it, that's how you know it's love. But if you're only seeing half of them and calling that love, no, that's not love, that's addiction. And you're so addicted to that half of that person that you are unaware that they have another side. And over time, that other side always reveals itself. And that's when you find out if it's love or not. When you start to see the person as a whole and not just a half, that's how you know if you really love the person. That's when love is even possible. Love is not possible in this state because it's an addiction, you know? And addictions are always painful. Look at a heroin addict, right? A heroin addict is addicted to heroin because it gives them that amazing one-sided pleasure. But then what happens? They lose friends, they lose their family, they quit their jobs, they're on the street trying to figure out how to get money for their addiction. So the more intense the pleasure, the more intense the pain as well on the other side, right? And so real love is, as John DeMartini says, is the synthesis and synchronicity of all complementary opposites. It's seeing both sides at the same time. That's when love is possible. Love is not even possible if you're only seeing the good things. People think it's love when they like, oh my God, I love Donald Trump, I love this, I love that, I love Tony Robbins. They're only seeing half of that person. If they actually got to spend a week or a month with that person, they're like, oh, this person has a whole other side that I was completely unconscious of. So, and you're also, when you only see one side of a person, you put them on a pedestal, which means you are below them. And if you feel like you're below someone, you'll never accept that person's love. You won't feel like you're good enough for love for that person. Same thing when you see someone as below you. If you're always like judging people, then you put yourself above them. It makes you feel good about yourself, and you cannot love that person because you feel like they're below you. When you see both sides of a person and you see both sides of yourself, you're like, I'm imperfect, they are imperfect, and we're on the same playing field. Now I can love them because I don't feel like they're above me, so I will receive that person's love and I can love them. So always be wary when something feels like a high at first, like when you start dating someone, it feels like a high at first. Or always be wary of people that are super famous and they just seem too good to be true on the surface. Learn to love yourself. Stop trying to get rid of half of yourself in order to love yourself. Learn to love the part that you're trying to get rid of, and learn to love the part that you're trying to get rid of in other people. Learn to love the part that you're trying to get rid of in your life. Learn to love yourself the way it is right now, and stop trying to, I'll love myself when I get this. I'll love myself when I get that. I'll love that person when they do this. I'll love that person when they do that. Love yourself now, love your life now, and love others now, and love everybody.